Hello everyone, back tuning into today's first video. We're doing a European outlook for today's first video. So, as always on a Thursday, we're having a look at the weather for the next week, 10 days in detail for Europe. And I shall get on that for you very shortly. Just say this will be the final European outlook for a couple of weeks, because of course next Thursday is Christmas Eve. So we usually just do like a weekend forecast for Christmas Eve, covering the full Christmas week. So no European outlook next week, and then the following week will be New Year's Eve. I'm not sure what we'll be doing then, but this is probably going to be the last European outlook for at least a couple of weeks, I would have thought. So I shall get on with that for you very shortly. Just to say that coming up later on today, we're going to have a 10 to 14 day review update, including all of rate features. And we're going to have the 21st Christmas update for you tonight. So we're coming to the end of Christmas updates now, of course, just a week away from Christmas Eve. So yeah, we're running out of time on the Christmas updates. But we've got 21st Christmas update coming up for you tonight. That will be after sort of 7 o'clock, between 7 and 8 o'clock, I would have thought. So, kicking it all off is the European Outlook. These are YouTube exclusives, by the way, so we don't embed these to GavsWeatherVids.com. If you want to be notified when we are releasing the European Outlook, you will need to subscribe to our channel. Click the bell notification icon, click all notifications, and then YouTube will tell you when we are releasing these videos. Thanks so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so we're starting off on today, Thursday, 17th of December. So the main issue is that most parts of Europe are mild at the moment. We've got deep low pressure in the Atlantic. We've got relatively high pressure across southern and eastern parts of Europe, and this is drawing up like a mild southwesterly wind. Our air temperatures look like that, so very cold across the northern parts of Scandinavia into the northwest of Russia. However, most parts of Europe are mild, bathed in those yellow upper air temperatures, which are yellow-coloured upper air temperatures, which of course are mild upper air temperatures. Of course, under the ridge over across eastern parts of Europe, it will be a lot colder on the surface than the upper air temperatures would suggest, because it's a continental landmass, and under high pressure it's very quick to get cold, of course. But technically the upper air temperatures are mild through most parts of Europe, except in the very far north. A lot of dry weather as well under the high pressure across most central, southern and eastern parts of Europe. We're looking at plenty of dry conditions. Heavy rain for parts of northern Germany and Denmark. That probably turns increasingly to snow as we move further northwards inland into Norway and Sweden. There's more showery conditions just lurking out in the Atlantic, heading towards the Republic of Ireland and Western Scotland by the end of today. But otherwise, the emphasis is on dry weather. A few heavy showers kicking off through the central bowl of the Mediterranean. Temperatures today look pretty mild. It is very cold in the very far north of Scandinavia, so bitterly cold up there, as you would expect, of course. So if anybody's off to see Father Chris in Lapland, it does look very, very cold up there. Thankfully, you will have plenty of snow and cold temperatures if you're off to see Father Chris in Lapland. But otherwise, it's quite a mild scene across most parts of Europe. As I say, at about ridge of high pressure over eastern parts of Europe, it is a lot, it is quite cold, due to the fact that you're under high pressure, so you've got light winds, and the heat will radiate away very quickly. But out in the west, it's much milder through Ireland, UK, most of Germany, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, down to France, Spain, Portugal, and the bulk of Mediterranean as well, looking really quite mild in those areas today. Right, this is how things look tomorrow then. So, low pressure deepening in the Atlantic, bringing another push of very mild southwesterly winds into the western part of Europe. Again, it looks quite a mild scene through most areas, most unsettled in the north and the west, driest in the eastern part of Europe. Upper air temperatures are looking like this. So again, coldest upper air temperatures are sort of pegged back in the very, very far north of Scandinavia and into northwestern Russia. Most places are looking mild, particularly so in the west of Europe, with these southwesterly winds dragging up those mild winds from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Outbreaks of heavy rain with gale force winds lashing the UK and Ireland on Friday. Some of that will be heading in towards parts of France and down in towards northern Spain as well by the end of Friday afternoon. Some rain, sleet, and of course, as you go further north, snow across parts of Scandinavia and moving over towards the Baltic Sea into the northwest of Russia. However, again, the emphasis through most parts of Europe tomorrow will be on dry weather as we are under high pressure. Few showers kicking off in the Med, but they look generally quite light. Temperatures look like that, so very cold for the far north of Europe and into the northwest of Russia. Eastern Europe under the high pressure is rather cold with frost and fog. Out in the west, it's very mild up this western side of Europe tomorrow, with temperatures widening to double digits. Parts of the UK, for example, could be up to around 13 or 14 degrees. That continues as we go down into France as well. So a very mild day tomorrow, despite the wind and rain. Saturday sees this low pressure getting further in towards west of Europe. We're beginning to lose the very mild southwesterly and turning into a rather cooler westerly, perhaps, in towards Ireland and Scotland in particular. But most parts of Europe, again, are still looking mild, with winds in from a southerly to southwesterly direction on Saturday. Upper air temperatures look very mild, and even pushing those very mild upper air temperatures into the far north of Scandinavia. So even there, things are getting milder as we go through towards Saturday with those upper air temperatures. It really just does look like a very mild scene across most parts of Europe going into the weekend. Outbreaks of rain moving from IWK in towards France, Belgium, Holland, Netherlands down to Spain and Portugal. Some of that is going to be very heavy. Maybe even for Spain, anyway, rather thundery. Could kick off some heavy showers and thunderstorms through the central bowl of the Med ahead of that wet weather. Going further northwards and eastwards, though, again, the emphasis is on dry weather with plenty of high pressure. We move out towards Scandinavia. We'll have rain across southern parts of Norway. That will turn to snow as it pushes further northwards into northern parts of Scandinavia. These how the temperatures are looking. So even in the northern part of Scandinavia, the temperatures are getting milder compared to how they are like today. So by Saturday, even in the far north Scandinavia, it's getting milder, but it will still be very cold, of course, up there and into northwestern parts of Russia as well. Generally cold on the eastern side of Europe with the area of high pressure keeping temperatures suppressed, although technically it's a mild air mass that you are under with the upper air temperatures. And out in west of Europe we find just becoming a little bit cooler, perhaps into Ireland, UK and northern parts of France as the wind turns into the west. That's Sunday, and so yes, we're looking again unsettled in northwest Europe with low pressure to the north and west of the UK and Norway. At the same time, though, we've got high pressure originating through southern and eastern parts of Europe, keeping winds generally from that mild southerly southwesterly direction. Upper air temperatures are looking very mild through most parts of Europe on Sunday. We've got increasing amounts of rain breaking out through western parts of Europe, so heavy outbreaks of rain, you know, from like northern Spain, Bay of Biscay through France, over some parts of Germany, down into central Med. There could be some big thunderstorms as well, some kicking off around Italy as well, perhaps. Again, many things east areas look mostly dry under the ridge of high pressure, and then we have showery bursts of rain, which will turn to snow in the far north of Scandinavia. Whoops, we don't want to go there. We want to go to there, don't we? Right, okay, sorry about that, everybody. Temperatures are looking generally mild in most areas. Even like northern Scandinavia has got a lot milder over the weekend, actually, but still quite cold through there and across eastern parts of Europe too, becoming a little bit cooler in the west as well, losing those yellow colours and going back to the greens for France, for the Low Countries, for Germany, for the UK and for Ireland. So temperatures will start to cool from like the North Atlantic as we go into the second half of the weekend. Monday, we'll see high pressure across southern and eastern parts of Europe, still drawing up these southwesterly winds. Low pressure out in the northwest will be threatening further rain into particularly parts of Ireland and the UK. Upper air temperatures are looking mild through most areas, very mild through southern and southwestern parts of Europe. Not as mild further north, but for the time of year, still very mild with those upper air temperatures. Even into northern Scandinavia, it does look really quite mild. Temperatures, precipitation I should say, for Monday. We'll see further outbreaks of rain moving in from the Atlantic in towards Ireland and the UK. More rain as we go over towards the Low Countries, into west parts of Germany, up to Denmark, and then into southern parts of Norway and Sweden as well. Probably mostly rain as we push over towards Finland, although further north there could be a little bit of snow mixed in. And then coming down through the eastern part of Europe again, we're still at that ridge of high pressure and mostly dry through there. A few showers in the eastern part of Med, but in central western parts of Mediterranean look mainly dry. Temperatures are looking like this. So for time of year, it is quite mild. Eastern parts of Europe getting the coldest weather, just from like western Russia in towards the far east of Ukraine, for example. It does look bitterly cold through there. Again, it is quite cold across Scandinavia, but for time of year, not anywhere near as cold as you would expect. And coming further westwards, we find generally very mild conditions through France, Spain, Portugal, most of the Med, into Ireland and the UK, just going to get a little bit colder through there. Tuesday keeps the low pressure close to the northwest of Europe. Gradually the ridge on the east side of Europe is weakening as well. So we're beginning to push these mild southerly southwesterlies so towards west of Russia, allowing perhaps colder air to begin to start digging in towards parts of Scandinavia as well. Upper air temperatures look like, but it is still generally quite a mild scene through most parts of Europe on Tuesday. Outbreaks of rain pushing further eastwards over towards the eastern part of Europe, may be turning to snow as it begins to push from the Baltic Sea in towards those northeastern countries. And further westwards, sort of outbreaks of rain through like Germany, some parts of France, particularly England and Wales, Ireland getting stuck under persistent rain probably on Monday and Tuesday. Most of southern, southwestern and eastern Europe are looking mainly dry. Temperatures are going to be turning colder across the northern half of the UK and down into Ireland as well on Tuesday. Scandinavia will also start to turn colder as well, I think, particularly Norway, but also perhaps down in towards Sweden. Further southwards, though, and westwards, generally mild from much of Germany, below countries, Germany, Spain, Portugal, most of the Med looking mild, and it gets colder into the far east and northeast of Europe. Getting closer to Christmas now. This is Wednesday, and deep low pressure vent is pushing through England and Wales, and as that pushes through, it will start pulling colder winds from the north in towards Ireland and also parts of Scotland. Scandinavia is also starting to become colder under this trough of low pressure. The mildest conditions look like they're through southern and also eastern parts of Europe. Upper air temperatures look like that, so the milder upper air temperatures generally being pushed eastwards as things begin to start turning colder in the far north and northwest. We're very warm through the central bowl of the Mediterranean with a plus 10 Celsius isotherm through there. Outbreaks of very heavy rain through Ireland, the UK, particularly England and Wales, over towards Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, Low Countries, northern Germany, up into Denmark. Some very wet weather through there on that area of low pressure and its trailing weather front. Showers probably turning increasingly to snow across many parts of Scandinavia, I would have thought. Some showery outbreaks of rain breaking out across the eastern part of Europe. Some of that could be snow as well. I mean, a lot of dry weather as we come through much of Mediterranean on Wednesday. Temperatures becoming colder, bitterly cold across western parts of Russia. Some of that beginning to seep into the very far east of Europe. Scandinavia is also turning colder, you will notice, so becoming much colder across Scandinavia. Starting to get colder Scotland and Ireland as well. Still generally mild though for many of these central, western and southern parts of Europe. That is Christmas Eve, a week today. And by then we are beginning to pull down much colder winds from the north into the UK, into Ireland, and possibly pushing down in towards France as well. The low pressure is transferring eastwards. The ridge generally from the east side of Europe is weakening and slipping down into like the southeastern part of the Mediterranean. So the jet stream is digging southwards. It just implies increasingly unsettled and cold conditions digging southwards as we move in towards the Christmas period. Christmas Eve with the upper air temperatures sees things becoming colder through much of Scandinavia. In fact, most parts of northern Europe are becoming colder. Colder air is also digging into Ireland and the UK as well. But milder upper air temperatures are being forced southwards and eastwards through the Mediterranean and onto the eastern side of Europe. So we have got plenty of precipitation in the north and west of Europe. It will be turning increasingly wintry on Christmas Eve, with rain turning to snow, or what precipitation there is turning to snow across Scandinavia, down through Denmark, for example, northern Germany, into the Low Countries, northern parts of France, into the UK and Ireland. I think there'll be an increasing risk on Christmas Eve that the precipitation there turns to snow. Heavy rain down across southern parts of Spain, most parts of the Med looking mainly dry, and then coming up to the eastern side of Europe we have a mix of rain and sleet snow pushing through that eastern part of Europe. The temperatures look like that, so much of southern Europe is mild, but it is getting ever colder in the north and west, so becoming bitterly cold across across Scandinavia, and turning a lot colder through Ireland and the UK and down in towards the Low Countries and northern parts of France as well on Christmas Eve. And that's how Christmas Day looks, with winds in from the north and from the northeast too, across most parts of northern and western Europe. Upper air temperatures are looking cold through many northern and western parts of Europe as well. So Christmas Day is shaping up to be cold in the north and west of Europe, milder in the southern and eastern parts of Europe, where we've got those milder upper air temperatures. There's quite a bit of precipitation around in the north and west of Europe. Some of it will be rain, but quite a bit of it will probably turn to snow. Wouldn't rule out the chance of a little bit of snow through eastern parts of England and Scotland, for example, on Christmas Day. Can you believe it? Some parts of France also might get a bit of a white Christmas, as might some parts of the Low Countries and Germany. Again, further southwards and eastwards, it is a milder scene through there. Temperatures on Christmas Day are looking like this. So overall, it is looking pretty cold across northern and western parts of Europe on Christmas Day. Many southern and southeastern parts of Europe are looking quite a bit milder. Then I'll just take you through to day 10. Which is going to be the 27th of December. So still generally looking quite cold through many northern, central and western parts of Europe. This area, low pressure just here, could bring some persistent rain and snow, or some persistent snow really, through Poland and possibly in towards Germany as well, just after Christmas. And so just generally looks quite cold for many northern and west parts of Europe as we go beyond Christmas. Further southwards and eastwards, that's probably where the milder temperatures are going to be. Looking very interesting for Christmas, isn't it? Across much of the north and the west of Europe. So that's it for European Outlook for this week. A little bit of an extended one, as we are talking about weather over Christmas. That's it for European Outlook this week. Probably the final European Outlook of the year. So the schedule will be back to normal in early January, but I'll probably ease back on some of the updates over the Christmas period. So this will probably be the final European Outlook of the year. Right then, so with that later on, your 10 to 14 day update, including all of regular features. Then we've got the 21st Christmas update coming up for you tonight. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.